advocating for economic justice for all Hoosiers. I live in Indiana. I'm running for the U.S. House of Representatives in the state of Indiana. Hoosiers are my primary focus, but I'm also thinking about people nationwide and worldwide. Advocating for economic justice for the lower 95% of Americans is essential for economic health of this nation. Right now, 95% of Americans are not getting the financial compensation they require. Money is the lifeblood of this nation and must circulate through the economy and not clot in one place. There it is. Ethical governance, ending the political corruption. We've covered that, but I'll go ahead and read this out here because it's super important. You can't say it enough. You can't pound this hard enough, okay? I quoted the Marine hymn here, and to keep our honors clean. There can be no ethical governance whenever our government officials can be legally bribed. Right now, because of Citizens United and Buckley versus Vallejo, politicians can take an obscene amount of money from the ultra-wealthy and mega corporations. And that big money means big influence. They pass legislation which cuts taxes and bails out the ultra-wealthy and mega corporations, which in turn leaves the tax burdens on your shoulders and the shoulders of your kids and your grandkids. Boom. It's time to put a stop to that. Absolutely. Joining the movement for ethical governance. Everybody should be involved in this. Everyone. And if you're not involved in it, get involved. This affects each and every single person out there. The ultra-wealthy and mega corporations can take care of themselves. The corrupt politicians are quick to spend your money on corporate bailouts and scoff at the idea of spending money on you. That is absolutely 100% correct. You know, our tax money isn't for the corporations. The corporations can take care of themselves. That money should be spent on you. It's your taxes. They're supposed to be spent on you. Yes. Advocating for ranked choice voting. I'm not going to read this blurb. Ranked choice voting is just an essential thing that we do not currently have. You know, like, let's face it, you know, like, whenever you're trying, like, right now we work off of, voting for the lesser of two evils. You know, it's the reverse political polarization effect. Right now, people aren't voting for the people they want in office. They're voting against the people they don't want in office, which is, you know, it just blows my mind that people will want to vote that way. That nobody has a candidate out there that they really love. They just hate the other guy more, and it's crazy. And to appropriately represent ourselves in this democratically elected representative republic, we need ranked choice voting, which means I'd prefer to have this guy, but if this guy isn't available, I'd like this guy, and I would like this guy, or I'd like this guy. There's some mathematical equations on it, and I won't cover that. But ranked choice voting, you know, like, what you could say is, I'd prefer to have this guy, but if I can't have this guy, I'll take this guy or this guy. It's really that simple, or lady, whatever the case may be. Ranked choice voting is super important. We need to pass that yesterday. It's vital to having a healthy democracy. There's just no doubt about it. This guy or that guy, ain't going to get it done. Promoting universal health care. Of course I promote universal health care. You know, I don't think that it should even be quote-unquote affordable. It should be absolutely free. Do you pay taxes? Yes. Here's your health care. Boom. Done. It should be that simple. It doesn't matter how much it costs. This is a goal that we've had for years and years. It's absolutely essential. Healthcare should be a human right. You know, it used to be that healthcare used to be really cheap. Now you can't even afford your deductibles. You have to pay these super high premiums on your insurance. You know, and to get a modest, like, hey, this is my copay. Whenever that copay is more than what people make in a month, unreal. Like, that's just not the way it should be going. The insurance industry currently runs our healthcare system. It's obscene. We should get rid of that. Healthcare should be free at the point of purchase. Boom. There it is. I'm not going to read all this. You already know how this one goes. Feel free to go ahead and go ahead and go over this if you want to. Or again, dliamdoris.com. That is dliamdoris.com. Promoting educational excellence. That's self-explanatory. An educated populace is a happy populace. The better the education, the better the worker, the better the production, the better the nation. It's just simple as that. But we're going to cover this a little bit more in depth here in just a little bit. I've got a whole lot of stuff I want to go over with you guys as far as this stuff is promoting environmental action. I'm going to go ahead and read you this, and we might circle back around to this in a little bit. I think that climate action is absolutely something we have to address. It's the largest existential threat that we've ever faced as mankind, and our tepid addressment of it is just not going to work. But let's go over this. Choose one's battles wisely. This is a battle worth fighting. Climate change is happening, and it's our duty to aggressively combat it. Our world will recover, to that I have no doubt, but this is a clear and present danger to all of humanity. 100%. 100%. The Earth will live no matter what, but before, in the process, will it kill off humanity? You're absolutely right, This is the biggest threat that we've ever faced. Whether you support ideas like the Green New Deal or other resolutions, it's time for us to get together and put our hearts, minds, and souls into getting work done. The lives and livelihoods of our children and grandchildren depend on it. Actually, no, I'm going to talk about this. I think that we should address this through our U.S. military. You talk to any veteran. I'm a veteran. I know most of my friends are veterans. And if they're not veterans, they're from a military family or a military background at very minimum, right? So, you talk to any of them, what does our military do 90% of the time? They go around picking up cigarette butts. Even whenever they're overseas, it's like, okay, let's go police the Chihuahua or something. I don't know. We don't actually have a lot of purposeful meaning things other than, going and killing each other. Like any veteran who's spent any time overseas, been in a war zone will tell you that stuff gets old real quick. It doesn't matter if you're me or Chris Kyle, killing gets old real quick. It's just a ridiculous concept, Why don't we fight a battle that's actually worth focusing on? And right now what we could do is repurpose our military. The military adapts to anything, any situation. Like I said, I'm a veteran. I'm a United States Marine Corps veteran. Improvise, overcome, adapt, right? We're going to improvise, overcome, adapt. If you give us a mission, and that mission is climate change, we're going to improvise, overcome, and adapt, and we're going to make sure that it gets done. That's a guarantee, right? So, we have the greatest military in the world. Why don't we put it towards battling the largest existential threat known to mankind? That's all I'm saying about that. Promoting workers' rights. I promote workers' rights, obviously, but I'll go ahead and read this to you, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Workers should be paid what they're worth. Absolutely. Right now, if you have a job, it's probably just a negotiation, if we want to call it that, between you and your lawyer. They aren't providing a service to you by giving you the job. You're providing them a service that makes you and their company money. And they are likely underpaying you and your colleagues. 100%. 100%. I don't care if you feel like you're making a lot of money. You're not making as much as what you're worth. Period. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Unless you're maybe like Elon Musk. But anybody who's watching this video makes less than what they should be. Anybody. You have to be a billionaire to think that you're making the money that you should. You're undervalued and underappreciated in your job, and no pizza party should convince you otherwise. Unions help tremendously with that. Yes, they do. And we need to empower ourselves by empowering people to unionize. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if a company ain't going, they ain't making profit. And here's the thing, is you're not working for them. You're selling them your labor, your body, your time away from family, things like that. They should be paying you appropriately. And unions help out a lot. Like some people complain about, well, unions take their dues. They take $20 a month or something like that. And it's like, dude, in the difference between the pays, like, it's tremendous. It's just a drop in the bucket compared to how much you'll get closer to being paid what you're worth. Like, I'm not saying that the unions will 100% get you paid for what you're worth, but they'll get you a lot closer than a non-union would. Anyway, moving on. Don't let people tell you that paying union dues will take out of your pocket. Yeah, I just said that. Standing with your colleagues is far more effective than standing on your own. 100%. Maybe you can be effective in anything. Maybe you can't. But I guarantee if you have, somebody at your back or shoulder to shoulder with a group of people, you're going to be far more effective than by yourself. It doesn't matter what you do, what your goal is, whether you are a battle-hardened warrior, whether you're a scientist. A group of scientists is always stronger than a single scientist, and that's just a fact. And it doesn't matter. That's why you have entertainment guilds and so on and so forth. The more the people, the stronger the organization is. Promoting personal freedom and privacy, absolutely. The government should stay out of our lives. What we do inside of our own homes, it has nothing to do with the government. They should stay out of it. They shouldn't tap your phones. They shouldn't, go and read your search history. Nobody really cares. Nobody cares. But let's go ahead and read this paragraph. First, fight for right and freedom. The Marines him. Again, Marine Corps veteran. That's my thing. There's no more important issue than the promotion of personal freedom and privacy. Right now, our freedoms and privacy are under attack from every side, whether it's privacy being eroded for the purposes of corporate data and marketing, or law enforcement invading your private lives for the immoral search and seizure. We must slow and end that attack. Every time that the political parties point their fingers and blame each other, they attempt to take freedoms away from one side, which ultimately erodes everyone's freedoms on both sides, not just one side. We have the right to be free and our lives private, and this cannot be repeated or yelled loudly enough. 100%. Ending the prohibition of cannabis. We're not going to read this. This is absolutely 100% true. We got it. We just have to end the prohibition of cannabis, and for that matter, prohibition doesn't help anything. It only worsens the issues. Whenever you prohibit something, whenever prohibition is done, there's always going to be a group of unsavory types, criminals, who are going to go through and bypass prohibition. Yeah, you can get it. It's going to cost you more. It's going to be less healthy. It's going to cause conflicts between the law-abiding citizens and the non-law-abiding citizens, create death and despair with law enforcement agencies, so on and so on and so on. How many people are in jail right now for nonviolent crime of smoking a little bit of reefer? You in that? You get non-violent people out of jail. You get them back out there being productive members of society. Jail should be for violent offenders only. Let's be real. But right now, there's too much concentration on people who smoke a little bit of weed. Let's move on. I'm not going to read that part. Ending the wars abroad. I'll read you this real quick. War's a racket. That's a quote by Major General Smedley Butler, USMC. If you're a Marine, you know who Smedley Butler is. I don't think that looting other nations is remotely acceptable, especially at the expense of civilian and service member blood. It's heinous and criminal. Take it from a Marine Corps hero, Smedley Butler, war is a racket. With little exception, most wars are declared by the very wealthy by proxy of the very corrupt in order to loot the resources of another nation. 100%. If you are a veteran, if you were in Iraq, or you know a veteran that went to Iraq, they all will say the same thing. We were there for the oil. I mean, we have even our politicians, whom some of us agree with, some of us disagree with. Hey, we should go there and loot that oil. Like, heaven forbid, you get a young teenager with a little bit of acne. They might go to war with that teenager just to fucking drill for the oil out of that kid's face. That's just the way it is. That's all we're interested in is looting other nations. Make a buck. At what price, though? Gene Debs once expressed, it's the ultra-wealthy that declare all wars. They have everything to gain and nothing to lose. It's the workers who ultimately fight all the battles, and they have nothing to gain and everything to lose, especially their lives. 100% true. 100% true. We're not making a buck off of that. You'll see your gas prices drop like 3 cents a gallon or something, maybe. That doesn't help anybody, no matter what anybody tells you 3 cents a gallon isn't going to make you or break you. Right? We don't see this. But you know who does? The oil executives. Period. They're making just money, cash hand over fist. And how do they do this effectively? They're going over and killing people and taking their stuff. That's how it's done. You know, and then they sell that stuff and they make even more money, you know? And other people are glad to help the oil industry, like, you know, the military industrial complex. They're like, you can have the oil, we can sell the weapons. It's really that simple. It's just unbelievable. With very little exceptions, such as cases like genocide and humanitarian operations and the like, the military intervention in this is not needed. There it is. There it is.